Welcome, I'm Rob Stone.
And I'm Diane Smith.
And this is CNN Live. We're here today with Dr. Monyard about the Ebola virus. Welcome, Dr. Monyard. Thanks for being here today.
Pleasure to be here.
We have a few questions about the Ebola virus. How did the Ebola virus originate?
Well, Ebola can be genetically traced to a single person from West Africa, perhaps a person infected by a bat. The virus first appeared in Guinea, then quickly spread to Sierra Leone and Liberia, taking many people's lives. The first known causes of Ebola occurred in 1976. Scientists strongly believe that Ebola comes from bats because in 2005, researchers sampled more than 1,000 small animals in the Central African nations of Gabon and the Republic of the Congo, who have also experienced outbreaks of Ebola. They tested about 679 bats, 129 small vertebrates, and 222 birds. The only animals they could find who had traces of the Ebola virus were bats. More specifically, the hammer-headed bat and the little colored fruit bat. Both of these bats were located in Guinea, which is where the first Ebola outbreak occurred. So scientists strongly believe that the source of this deadly virus could be these bats.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. So, Dr. Monyard, what do cells have to do with the Ebola outbreak?
Good question, Diane. As the virus travels in the blood to new places, immune cells called macrophages eat the virus. Once the macrophages are infected, they release proteins that trigger coagulation for forming small clouds through the blood vessels and reducing blood supply to organs. Once Ebola enters the body, it targets many types of immune cells. It infects dendritic cells, which normally display signals of an infection to activate the T cells. The T cells are the white blood cells that destroy other infected cells before the virus spreads any further. When the dendritic cells fail to give the right signal, the T cells don't respond to the infection, and the virus starts immediately replicating and spreading very quickly.
What effect does the Ebola virus have on people?
Well, Ebola is a very deadly virus that causes extreme high fever, body aches, diarrhea, and also bleeding inside and outside of the body. As the virus spreads throughout the body, it damages the immune system and organs. This causes level of blood clotting cells to lower. This leads to severe uncontrollable bleeding. Some more symptoms of Ebola include hiccups, sore throat, difficulty breathing and swallowing, chest pain, stomach pain, vomiting. The skin starts to rash and bleed, and you will feel very weak.
It's awful.
That sounds awful. Are there any types of medications to help treat the Ebola outbreak?
In December 2016, studies found that the VSV-EBOV vaccine to be 95 to 100% effective against Ebola virus, making it the first proven vaccine against the disease. In late 2017, Toma Japan started a clinical trial of the drug favipiravir. The initial results suggested that the product might have some activity against the virus in the early stages of infection, and this drug was then warranted for further infection. Since Ebola patients lose a lot of blood, convalescent whole blood donated by Ebola recovered patients have been administered in Sierra Leone in the trial run by the government since late 2014. The drug Brinsavir has granted an emergency FDA approval as an investigational new drug for the treatment of Ebola, after it was found to be effective against Ebola virus in vitro tests. Up to 90% of people affected with Ebola die, and most medications cannot keep Ebola-infected people alive.
Ah. So what impact does the Ebola virus have on society and the environment?
Well, Ebola has a big impact on society because Ebola is very contagious, and in West Africa, more and more people got infected by the virus because the virus spread very quickly. Ebola was a big problem in West Africa, and West Africa is very poor. They could not afford to support the Ebola-affected patients, so other countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, and Germany, were the top donors to the international Ebola response. Altogether, they donated more than $3.611 billion US. Ebola also has a big impact on the environment because Ebola originated from bats, and these bats are infecting a lot of humans and animals, causing a lot of the humans and animals in our environment to die. Seasonal changes in our weather can also be a major factor when dealing with Ebola because unusual weather coordinations may drive bats to travel into human-occupied areas in search of infected animals are either moving further and further into human-occupied areas or human/farmers are moving further and further into infected animals' habitats. Regardless, we keep coming in contact with these disease-filled animals.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Monyard. That was very informative. We appreciate you so much for coming to the show today.
Now Cindy for sports.